Okay, hello YouTube, hello Twitch. It is Saturday, it's noon, 12 o'clock, noon o'clock. Back for another Terraria stream. And let's go ahead and jump in. Today might be the day that we might, break through and get to hard mode finally. We beat the Deerclops and the Slime God last time. We have their relics right here. And over the past, I think, month or so, we beat Queen Bee and Skeletron. So those are done. So now we can finally move on to the Wall of Flesh, and that's going to take us into hard mode, which I guess you can kind of say it's like the halfway point in our playthrough. I know we're like 130 episodes in, and we're barely getting into hard mode. But there's technically more bosses and events in hard mode than there are in pre-hard mode, so I don't know if I would call it the halfway point, but some people might call it the halfway point. But yeah, we're gonna see if we can get into that today. We've only got so much time, and there is kind of a lot to do. So I'm gonna try to get that started ASAP. I've decided to save the housing changes until at least next stream or until we get into hard mode. Because again, once we get into hard mode, we're gonna get some new NPCs like immediately. So I'm gonna wait until we get to hard mode and then start building some new houses. Because we're also gonna have, I think, one or two more biomes that we can build houses in and get pylons for. A pylon, but you get my idea. Anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the platform that we need in the underworld to fight the boss. Looks like we do have these weapons here as well. Oh, right, I was gonna do that off stream. I was gonna make the Knight's Ray off stream, but I forgot about that. I can just save that for later. The Vile Thorn is easy enough to get. We can get that from Shadow Orbs, the Corruption. If we don't end up finding one, we can get one from turning a Crimson item that we get from Crimson Hearts. We can convert that into the Vile Thorn. If we don't find a Vile Thorn in this world, I'll just switch over to a new world, get some Crimson stuff, and then convert it over. Then we have the Lunarian and the Gubo that we could try out, but I think I decided for now we're just going to keep the Gale Force. It seems like the Gale Force just kind of does what these do, but just a little bit better. I don't know. I'm probably going to stick with the Gale Force, but I do have these just in case. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with the platform. Is my music on? Like I can't hear the music. Maybe my volume is just low. Anyways, like I said last week, this boss is tough to say the least. Like I said, we need to get a certain item from a certain enemy. We'll have to find that at some point. We can probably find them pretty easily, but we do have to find it. And of course, we have to fight the boss while we travel across hell. And as you can see, the ground is uneven. Sometimes there is no ground. Sometimes we have to go through these buildings. There's a lot of lava. If we weren't as powered up as we are, we would be vulnerable to lava, so that would be a problem. So there's just a lot of stuff in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and start building this platform using our arena platform builder, which we get from Louis AFK. And I'll just start it at the beginning of the elevator and then go, side to side with it. The platform itself shouldn't take more than like 10 minutes to make across all of hell. it's going to be clearing out all of the houses and everything like that. That's going to take a long time to do. So I might not do all of that right now, but we're going to have to do all of that eventually. So what kind of stuff do we want here? Probably want lights. Campfires would be nice. And we could just use regular wood, I guess. Actually, I think we can use asphalt for this too, right? If I'm remembering correctly from my last playthrough. Right-click to choose options. Choose platform material. Will automatically use asphalt. Yes, there we go. If you have them in your inventory. Okay, let's see if we can get that really quickly. Because asphalt is going to allow us to run across the platform a lot faster. So it's just going to be, you know, extra movement speed. Which is going to help out a ton. Let's see what we need for asphalt. Because I can't remember at this point. Need 2 stone and 1 gel and a blendomatic. We don't have a blendomatic, do we? We have a solidifier. And we have that, like the new kind of solidifier that we got from the slime god. I don't think we have a blendomatic, though. As far as I remember, I think we tried to craft it at some point. But we couldn't. Okay, alright, never mind. I guess that's off the list. Then that's out of the question. Alright, well, let's just use this. So maybe it will take a little bit longer than 10 minutes, but it shouldn't take that long to do all this. I know I said I would maybe do this off stream just to save some time. We can kind of just take care of the wall today, so we can definitely get to hard mode. But I decided not to. Thought I might be, you know, a bit more, maybe not exciting, but just you know, more of a thing to do on stream. So I don't turn on stream and then all the work's already done, you know? Like that's a little bit lame to do. But yeah, we'll go ahead and just do this for the next, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 minutes. And while I do want to get rid of these houses, we have as much space as possible. Like I said, that is actually going to take a long time. That would probably take up the rest of the stream, so I can do that another time. I feel like just getting rid of the walls and all that stuff, and making sure we have a clear path to run, I think that's good enough. I hope it's good enough, at least. We should be okay like this for now. I'm trying to think about any other preparations we might need for the wall. I don't think we really need much else. Our weapons are kind of already as good as they're gonna get. You know, with the slime god being defeated and everything, so I think we're good on weapons. We're good on armor. We have the new Statagel armor. We have some new accessories. And it's good enough. We already have most of the potion powers available to us, if not all of them. Oh, I think I got disconnected from my stream. I'm gonna have to figure that out later. Yeah, we've got pretty much everything that we can get up to this point, so we're gonna have to be prepared. Now, typically, honestly, if I'm honest, I think in my experience, I haven't ever really gone truly end to end when fighting the wall. This might be a bit overkill. But, I mean, we are going to travel throughout the underworld at some point later, so, I mean, this is going to help out with that. If we wanted to, we could even build some housing down here. So that would be a good, foundation for that as well. We don't get an underworld pylon, we get the caverns pylon. So, we could build it here or just somewhere in the caves. It would be the same. If we can't find anywhere in the caves, we just build it down here and that would work out just fine. So yeah, I don't know. Bit overkill, but still useful. So, hope everyone had a good week. I'm noticing some more people are actually commenting on my videos and just leaving nice words, which I really appreciate. I don't reply to comments often, I kind of just like them. Let them sit there. I don't reply to every single comment because I just don't think I would be able to do that all the time. But I do appreciate all the comments that I get. I see them on my YouTube feed whenever, somebody leaves a comment. It's not often, but, it happens sometimes. And, yeah, people have just been saying nice things. And I just appreciate that. Thanks for that. Made my week a lot better. Say that. Not that I had a bad week, but, made it a lot better. Kind of just cooped up like normal. Getting real hot out here. The middle of July in California, Southern California. So it's getting real hot over here. I think it was just about 105 the other day, something like that. 101, 102, something like that, 105. I was getting up there in terms of temperature, and as you guys know, I am still, just waiting for my work to start up again so I can get some money, so I can actually go out and do things. So in the interest of not going broke and getting a ton for a heat stroke, I've just been, staying inside, kind of just minding my business. That's been fine. Still catching up with Marvel. Still working through some organization things on my laptop. You know, going through my files and all that stuff. Working on music. Same thing as normal, basically. For Marvel, I just finished Hawkeye. I just finished Hawkeye the other day. This show. Not the other day. I finished it yesterday. I watched all of it yesterday, actually. And I thought it was pretty good, actually. I enjoyed it. It was kind of confusing for a lot of it. It took me a while just to piece together exactly what was happening in the show, because it felt like there was like 5 different things happening at any given time. Well, you know, again, a little confusing, but I liked it. I liked the character moments. I liked how they handled Hawkeye, and they didn't really give us like an origin story, but they gave us reasons as to why he was doing what he was doing over the years, who he is in relation to like Natasha and Yelena and all that stuff. So I thought that was pretty nice. And obviously we got introduced to Kate. Pretty fun. I like Kate as a character. Kind of crazy how competent she is, to be honest. You would think somebody who got inspired by an Avenger and, you know, just joined martial arts just to be like them would not be that competent in a fight or on a mission, but she was pretty good at it. Or at what she does, you know. She was able to hold her own. She didn't really get hurt that badly. She didn't end up hurting Hawkeye that much, so I liked her as a character. I'm excited to see her come back, either in Doomsday or Secret Wars, or Hawkeye Season 2 maybe. I don't know. So that was all fun. I watched, I guess that means I did watch the, you know, the Eternals and Shang-Chi as well. What show was I watching? I was watching, and what show was that? Loki, What If. I was watching What If, and that took me a while to get through. I watched that, and I watched Shang-Chi, I watched Eternals. Which again, what is that? Holy crap, that is a big sword. Hold on. Oh, and a plasma rod. We haven't seen that in a while. Hold on. Big sword jump scare, Jesus. And a wizard's hat. I love the wizard's hat. That's actually a classic item right there. The Rock Excalibur. It is a melee weapon, so we won't use it, but the Hellish Wall of Flesh holds the key to this weapon's power. Hold left click to charge up a strike. Release with cursor above you to swing normally. Release with the cursor... Excuse me, sorry. Release with the cursor below you. Dive downwards and bounce off of enemies. Diving causes shockwaves. Okay. Oh, I can't use it. Oh, I guess that's what that text meant. I must have to kill the wall to be able to use this. Alright, well, I mean, you guys know I'm gonna sell it anyways. But, that's cool. I didn't know that you can get that down here. I feel like I've used that sword my previous playthrough on my melee build. Well, I must have gotten it from down here at some point, and I just didn't notice. But I didn't know you can get that that sword down here. That's pretty cool. Anyways, what was I talking about? I was talking about Shang-Chi and the Eternals. Um, yeah, I watched Shang-Chi the other day. I watched the Eternals the other day. I enjoyed both of those movies. I honestly like the Eternals a bit more than I think other people do. A lot of people trash on that movie even to this day. I see a lot of people talking about how boring it is. There's too many characters. There's not enough stuff that goes on that connects it to the other Marvel movies and all that stuff. But I quite liked it, especially because we had no mention of the Eternals before this, and they gave us a perfect explanation as to who they are, why they don't interfere with other events, with the Avengers, on all that stuff. So I like the movie. I like the characters and all that stuff. Excited for all them to return. And Shang-Chi, I think people generally like Shang-Chi, so I'm not in the minority there. I also like it. But, you know, obviously I just wish him and Katie were in other movies. But a lot of people, you know, agree with that opinion, so yeah, not in the minority there. Oh, there's a voodoo demon right there. Kind of forgot we need to look for those. Yeah, that's a voodoo demon. Um, those are the guys we need to kill in order to summon the wall of flesh later. We have to be kind of careful about, you know, killing them though, because obviously, if we kill them at the wrong time, their voodoo doll can just fall into lava without us wanting it to, and it'll summon the boss right away. We've got to be careful about, you know, killing them safely. That is what we want. Alright, there's one side done. Go ahead and get the other side. And as you might notice, if you haven't noticed already, the left side of the world, or the west side, depending on how you think about it, the left side, the terrain changes. There's a lot more trees and like hills and stuff like that where the lab is. And the same goes for the other side. It's a bit different, but the landscape is going to change again. So if you want to think about it in a certain way, you could say the underworld has 3 different biomes in it, I guess. The left side is like, I guess, like a hell forest. The entire middle section is hell. It's just got all these houses and ruins and everything. Then the right side, or the east side, as we're gonna see, has new blocks. There's new enemies, new blocks. The lava changes how it behaves, and all of that. So you can call that something else. I don't know exactly what you would call it, but you could call it something else. And we'll see that pretty soon. I don't think I've showed that off on stream yet, so that'll be, I guess, new content, technically. Oh, you know what? I also did play through the rest of Deltarune Chapter 4. I talked about that for the past week or so. I played through Chapter 3 sometime last week. And that only took me, I think, 3 or 4 hours. Then I played through Chapter 4. It took me a lot longer. I think it took me about 6 to 8 hours. Definitely a lot more gameplay to be had there. And I quite enjoyed it, I would say. At first, I was, not gonna lie, a little bit bored, because you can spend like an hour and a half just in the overworld talking to people, interacting with stuff. And you don't really get much out of it. You get some lore, obviously, and you get some insight into the character relationships and all that stuff is all neat and cool, but you don't really get anything out of it in terms of items. But yeah, after you spend an hour in the overworld, you finally get to the dark world. I was pretty engaged most of the way through. I won't talk about it, but you know, all the fights were fun. The characters are fun. There's a lot of stuff in there that hints towards how the next few chapters are gonna go. Pretty exciting. And there is an alternate route, so I'm gonna have to probably go back and play that at some point to see how that goes. Yeah, pretty excited about all of that. The soundtrack obviously is great. Even if you haven't played Deltarune, you're gonna hear about the soundtrack from people on TikTok all the time. But it's true, the soundtrack is great. Toby Fox is, you know, being Toby Fox. I think people are just now realizing that he is a good composer and he's good at writing music. And he's good at writing video game music, that's for sure. People are like, oh, the motifs he used in this song also show up in this song, and this piece connects to this piece, and it also makes sense because of these characters here, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah. Like, if you watch a movie, that happens a lot, too. Movie scores, or television scores, or other video game scores. Like, Toby Fox is good at doing it, but that's not a Toby Fox thing, you know? You know what I mean? It's not like he invented writing character motifs. But yeah, he is good at it, and the soundtrack is great. So. I would recommend buying the game just for that alone, to be honest with you. I know 25 bucks is kind of a lot of money for some people. So if you're like on the fence on buying Deltarune, you just don't know if you'll like it. First of all, I'm gonna say you get the first 4 chapters for 25 bucks, which is a good deal, I think, just by itself. But as the other chapters are gonna get released, you're gonna get those as well for no price. So 25 bucks is the price for the entire game, even though the rest of the chapters haven't released yet. So, you know, if chapters 1 through 4 weren't already a great enough deal for you, then you get the rest of chapters 5 through 7 for that price as well, so hopefully that can you know, convince you to buy the game, or at least play it, even if you don't buy it. But yeah, the soundtrack through and through I think is great, so play the game, listen to the music, enjoy the soundtrack, all of that. Well worth it. But now I gotta fill my time with something else. I mean, I still do have to watch a lot of Marvel stuff, so probably gonna spend most of my time doing that now. But I've got no story games to play. Nothing fresh, at least. I have Night in the Woods, and I know that's a pretty good game, pretty popular, pretty good. Good fan base and all that stuff, good story, good characters. But unfortunately, I have seen somebody play that. It was the entire reason I actually I bought the game, because I watched somebody play it, and I wanted to play it for myself. I already know about all the story and the characters and all that stuff, so it's not really fresh for me, but I'll probably still play that eventually.